What's up, TikTok? You're going to see a little behind the scenes. We're filming some stuff up here in Queens with my man, Loycent. Loycent, we're at Neirs Tavern. He's going to give us a tour of a restaurant. If you've watched Goodfellas, you may notice a couple things here. So that's what we got here. So, Loycent, take it away. Give us the tour.
You know, this is it. I'm excited. I feel like I'm with a celebrity. This guy's like all over the country. The next thing you know, he drove an hour just to come here. And so I'm really happy that you're part of this little thing we call Neirs Tavern. So my name is Loy. I own Neirs Tavern. I took it over in 2009. It was 3 days from closing down, unfortunately. But I jumped in as an act to kind of give back. And a lot of restaurant owners, we all about giving back, serving the community. But I couldn't do it on my own, so I figured out how do I kind of connect with the community, because I have no idea how to run a bar and restaurant. And so I did a few strategic moves to connect and reflect the community that we're supposed to serve. And they followed me along with the journey, and we end up saving it, and we end up having a street named after the first street in America, first restaurant in America to have a street named after it. But that wasn't always the case.
Yeah.
The reason people always say, well, why is this place in like no man's land? Because really back then, the racetrack was right across, one of the most famous racetrack in the country was right across the street. And the guy decided, you know what, we could make some good little money from this thing. So he opened this place back in October of 1829.
1829.
Yes, and that's why.
So not 100 years ago, almost 200.
Yeah, almost 193 years ago.
Wow.
And eventually the racetrack closed, and next thing you know, everything was more abandoned, and we had to figure out how to get it going. So this was the entrance to that racetrack, and that's why this place is important, because it reminds us about that historic racetrack.
Okay.
But fast forward, Neirs Tavern has been a place for movies. From Mae West, they call her the Queen of Sex. She got her start here because a guy named Joe Neir opened Neir. Well, not even open. He actually took it over and refurbished this place and called it Neir's Social Hall. Okay. And he had a ballroom there, vaudeville shows, and Mae West, who lived about 10 blocks that way, performed here.
Wow.
Yeah. So he helped her get her start right in this place. And more movie history is Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese found out about this little place, and he was filming not too far away, because it's all about the JFK, Lufthansa heist. And someone told him about the place, and next thing you know, what he did, he took the entire set and said, we got to come here. He looked, he's like, this is beautiful. And he filmed 14% of the movie right here.
14%?
So, yeah, most people don't realize. They might know the Christmas scene right afterwards. Come here, you.
Yeah, he's out in front of the bar.
You know, come on. And the other one, he said, what did I tell you? Don't buy anything. You're going to get pinched. And he comes in with the mink coat and the pink Cadillac outside. And Robert De Niro's pissed off. That all happened here. And this is a picture of that scene right here. So if you look, this is the mink coat. This is Frankie Carbone. He was actually here about 2 months ago.
Oh, wow.
First time back in 30 years. He was like incredible. He said he doesn't have the fro anymore.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, kind of grow out. But this is where it happened. And
so this place is dripping with history.
It's movie history, it's architecture history. It's just so much. I can't even cover it. It's just so much.
Yeah.
And even this bar counter that you're holding on to,
mahogany.
we first discovered that this place was older than the 1900s than they thought, because this is Honduran mahogany bar counter. And you couldn't get this wood. If you look, it's one continuous piece. It's almost like someone took a tree, sliced it down, shaved it, and put it here. A lot of the wood bar counters you see now, there's pieces. You piece them together. This is one piece of tree, like a 20-foot piece of tree. And this has been here probably close to the inception, because we could date it back at least to 1835. So this is history in itself. Wow. Yeah. It's still there. A lot of people have drank there and eat there. And of course, we had Tower Heist. Brett Ratner also came here.
Leone?
Came here with Tay Leone, Ben Stiller, and they filmed a movie called Tower Heist. This is them in the back there in the dining room. It's on Netflix right now. You can watch it. And you can see one of the opening scenes. He had Neirs Tavern. Rather than change it to Matt's Bar, nothing wrong with that. But he had the Neirs Tavern. I look at the movie theater I was watching. I was like, is he really going to put that? I was like, holy shit, he actually did. He put Neirs. He said, I would never desecrate this place.
So what year was that?
That was 2010, but it came out in 2011.
So that was when you had just taken over.
Yeah, 2 years after, 2 years. There's much history with this. That's a whole nother story. But Mae West, this is her little homage to her and the people that we care about that passed along, including Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain did something on CNN with us. He came and he sat right there and he interviewed me. We talked together. And unfortunately, the following year, he passed away. But we try to remember those people that was important to the place. Not just celebrities like Mae West or Anthony Bourdain who was here, but the average person, just like you and I.
Yeah.
And that's our contribution.
Because that's who builds the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's the people that come in here every day, not the Matt Flaps that come once a year.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But our fame started growing when we discovered the fact that this was actually established in 1829 by this Woodhaven, this Queens historian. And that's when things started getting crazy. We started getting in all kind of newspapers with the McSorleys of the world, Neirs Tavern, places that was thought to be the oldest in New York City. And that's where Daily News did this first story that started this whole thing. Longest running bar in Queens, says the historian. And that started where we were on American Express, we're ESPN, we were on Huffington Post, all these different things. And this was me when I had dreadlocks.
Yeah, I was gonna say you look a little different back then. And you're also doing dual duty. You're a fireman as well.
Yeah,
locally.
so I love to serve. I love to help. I like to give back. So when 9/11 happened, I decided to join the fire department. So I signed up, and out of the 20,000 people that did sign up, I was 643. So I was hired the next class to help replace. I can't, save everyone, but I can at least replace one guy that they lost, and that guy was me. So that's why I joined, and it's been 17 years now, and it's been an adventure, And then this is another place I wanted to give back and to save, and I just like saving things.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your service too.
Yeah, appreciate it. So this is a little bit about the Neirs bar, this bar area. A lot of these things here is a little bit newer, including our mural. This is a 16-foot mural that we commissioned to put in perspective, what does 193 years really look like? And so what best way to do that with a mural? So if you look, it's like black and white and going on, it comes sepia and then color. And if you look deeply, you'll see the people have different type of dress, different fashion based on that time period.
Okay.
The trains were different based on the time period. The horse racing, which we're deeply connected with, is different as we move along. And the train is because the J train is right up the block.
Okay.
And that's like the heart that runs to Woodhaven. And that was taken by a lot of our patrons. So it all kind of works together. And there's little Easter eggs in there, the little things in there. If you look, you find a little Goodfellas, little hints in there. And
So I need to eat my lunch there and examine it.
Stare at it.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, so that's it. Two last things. This door is part of the Goodfellas door. If you look at Goodfellas, when Maury was knocking on the door, Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta was in there, and he's knocking. He's like, I want my cut. Everybody got their cut already. Maury, the wig guy, didn't get his cut. So he was like, listen, I want my cut. So he opened the door, and Ray Liotta said, you want your cut? And immediately, mobster look, he was like, all right, I could wait. So this door, you'll see, it goes like that. You'll see in that movie. That's when you'll know.
So I should knock. I want my burger.
Yeah.
I want my burger.
It might be. I wish it was there. No, he's not there. But Samuel Jackson was also in the movie, and this is him here at Neirs. It's him at Neirs.
Yeah.
And the last picture I'm going to show you is this. This is the oldest recorded picture we have of this place. So this was when the Neir family took it over in 1898. And I guess that's why they took this photo, because it was a momentous moment, right? And if you look, this is that side door. The guys just came through. This is that now little porthole right there. And there was no real sidewalk. It was just a dirt road. Yeah. And eventually they started cleaning it up, you see, and eventually add a second layer to it. So if you look outside and look at the building, you'll see that, okay, these windows line up, and then all of a sudden the front is like halfway up. And then because they added a different floor at different time period. But this is the oldest recorded picture. This is what it looked like back in 1898.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot. I don't think I've ever been in a restaurant, talked to somebody that knows that deep of history about something, this established. I mean, usually it's a place that opened 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
We're coming up on 6, 7 years. We're at 200 years.
Yeah. We're only a few years from 200. It's going to be bicentennial. And hopefully we'll show you a little bit of the food. You get to the food. You got a little history.
Yep.
I filled you up with history.
Let's get some
I'm gonna
food.
fill you up with some burgers.
Let's do it.